Another day, another update, this time on Jack Eichel once again, because when it comes to the Buffalo Sabres captain, he is definitely the guy with the most star power and the most talking point potential, I guess, in the overall trade speculation side of things, because we've been chronicling the entire saga of teams that have been in, that have been asking, that have been reported to having interest in the man who once said he wanted to overtake Connor McDavid one day. Jack Eichel is indeed still on the block, and when it comes to the way the cycle has been going, we have ourselves a few updates that I wanted to talk about here. Firstly, it comes from John Vogel. Sabres GM Kevin Adams says that regarding trades, he is looking at anything and everything, and conversations are happening every single day. He also says he had a long talk with Jack Eichel's agent on Wednesday, but he did not divulge details. He says the Sabres have not changed their minds. No neck surgery for Eichel. Now, how did the conversation go between the GM and the agent? Well, Eichel's agent told Vogel that we have definitely been communicating with the team and we are heading towards a resolution. And I think it's kind of easy to fill in the blanks here. Eichel wants a surgery. The Sabres have doubled down on their position of saying, yeah, no, you're not going to get that surgery here, man. And now the agent is saying, yeah, we've been talking and we'll be heading towards a resolution soon. Yeah, you're going to see a trade happen in the next little bit here, most likely. And so, when it comes to the Eichel trade, we have talked about Columbus and how they're apparently out now. We've talked about the Rangers and the Kings and the Bruins, about how they're apparently not really as interested as they had been before. We also had the speculation from Darren Dreger as to whether or not the Kings could circle back, so we'll see if they keep in touch with the entire Eichel conversation here. We had the Minnesota Wild, who are reportedly interested as well. We actually haven't talked about that on the channel yet, but this is not that video, unfortunately. And we spoke about a few other teams. Anaheim, Chicago. These teams were in the mix because for Chicago, there was that entire, Kirby Dach and 11th overall and all that, and the entire conversation there was really strange because we had a top 6 forward, a top 4 defenseman, other prospects, and a first-round pick labeled as the potential asking price. The next update we had went over how the Sabres' price is a little bit too high. We also had, for the Anaheim side of things, the idea of Jamie Drysdale, one of Zegras, maybe the 3rd overall pick involved as well. We had those conversations earlier in the month. No, it's July 4th. Happy 4th of July, by the way. My goodness, I can't believe I missed out on the holiday. We talked about this last month. However, now we have a little bit of an update as to those teams, because as you can read from the title and the thumbnail, yeah, apparently it's not really going down that way anymore. So here we go. This is on the Anaheim front. Elliot Friedman said this on WGR 550 Sports Radio in Buffalo yesterday, that he believes that the resolution will end in a trade, and that also, the last time he checked earlier in the week, Anaheim was not willing to do what the Buffalo Sabres wanted. Which, as we noted in previous videos, had something to do maybe with Trevor Zegras, maybe with Jamie Drysdale, maybe with that 3rd overall pick. Because at the end of the day, we had all the asking prices labeled out here. If you're giving up what is Trevor Zegras and the 3rd overall pick, and another top 4 defenseman, and a few prospects to Buffalo for Jack Eichel, whose surgery is going to happen and you don't really know the certainty about that situation and whatnot, yeah, it's not the most easy trade to say you're going to win. You're going to give up Zegras and a 3rd overall guy. What if that 3rd overall guy is like William Eklund? What if it's Luke Hughes? What if it's Matty Beniers? You give up Zegras, Beniers, and another defenseman for one guy? What if a Trevor Zegras becomes as good as a Jack Eichel? Certainly looks like he has that ceiling. My gosh, that guy's crazy good at playmaking and doing the hockeys, you know? If this guy becomes what is essentially a higher point producer than Eichel one day, are you going to say that this is a trade that you thought you should have made by then? Trading away Zegras and some other stuff for Eichel? Yeah, no. Even with Jamie Drysdale, you could sort of make a similar argument. Now, I know Drysdale's a defenseman and he's not going to get as many points as Jack Eichel will, but there's value here attached to all of these things. And if Buffalo is telling the Ducks, yeah, we want Zegras the 3rd and whoever else is on your blue line, Anaheim has the full-out right to say, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. We don't want to do what you want to do. Because we have so much long-term value in all of these guys combined here, plus that 3rd overall pick. that it's not worth it to give up for one player whose success at the NHL level next year is not guaranteed, and who very critically wants out. It's easy for a team to say, yeah, we have the leverage here. Your guy doesn't want to play with you, and you're disagreeing on what to do with his surgery. Why should we have to pay a premium for the asset that you want to get rid of? Which is why the Darren Dreger thing earlier in the week makes a ton more sense, where he said, yeah, maybe the Sabres have to decrease their price because they've been asking for a lot for Jack Eichel. Furthermore, on to the Chicago Blackhawks side of things. Here's an article from BleacherNation.com talking about what Scott Powers said on The Athletic. According to Powers, the Blackhawks will not be in the running to make a trade for Sabres captain Jack Eichel anymore. Per Scott's sources, the team cannot picture having three players, Kane and Taves as well, making over $10 million a season on their roster. He's a great player, the quote says, but I don't see how we can have three players make more than $10 million. I don't think we can construct a roster that way. And don't worry, I know what everybody's thinking about. I know everybody's thinking about commenting, ooh, they're throwing shade at the Leafs, aren't they? And maybe you might have some truth to that argument, but at the end of the day, it's still a very rational thought to have for your hockey team. Three guys making $10 million? No thank you. I mean, we're in a flat cap world. The cap's not going to go up for a few years. Why would we go out there and jeopardize the rest of our freaking roster by having three guys making $10 million? We see what's happening with Toronto. Look at that team. They're so strapped for cap. It's incredible. The short-term, the entry-level deals, the below $1 million deals they keep on signing, and the guys that are honestly pretty effective and pretty good, like Alex Kerfoot, making 3 whatever it is he's making, being contention for Seattle fodder because of his contract. Dude, it's really easy to see why you wouldn't want to go out there and hamper yourself with three $10 million players. Furthermore, the entire argument that was going on about Kirby Dach, the same article from Power says that Chicago has no interest in parting ways with their 2019 third overall pick Kirby Dach because they would be filling one need and having to fill another. Especially with all the other stuff you add onto it. If you traded that 11th overall pick plus that package of a defenseman and maybe another forward with Kirby Dach for Jack Eichel, you're essentially just sending away all that extra stuff to upgrade Dach to Eichel. Now sure, that could be seen as a definite upgrade. But Kirby Dach is still so young. He's still got so much time to become so much better than what he has shown us, and the injuries have really slowed him down, so I don't think it's fair to put a cap on his NHL development so far, especially this early into his career. Because the very same argument could happen with Kirby Dach. Yes, Jack Eichel has been a point per game before, but once Kirby Dach becomes that as well, do you think a few years down the line you'd be happy in saying, oh, we traded away the 11th overall pick and Kirby Dach and a solid right-handed defenseman or whatever for Jack Eichel, who is on our team and he's good, but Kirby Dach is like the same amount of good. And they drafted, I don't know, Fabian Lysell or a Chaz Lucius or a Cole Sillinger with that 11th overall pick, and he's getting 25 goals in the league now. There's a value point of view you have to take a look at when it comes to these trade proposals, and now that the Blackhawks have two very strong arguments as to why they wouldn't want to do this. Firstly, because they don't want to trade something for something that they would already have to replace afterwards, and the entire aspect of having three $10 million players on their roster, I think they might be out. Now, Anaheim, I'm not sure if they're out for sure, just from the way that Elliot Friedman's overall idea here is reading, that, oh, they don't want to go out there and do what the Sabres wants. There's an implication that if the Sabres loosened up what it is that they want, there might be some more room to negotiate. But for Chicago, I think it's a lot more solidified. Unless they're sending away Taves or Kane in a trade for Eichel, it's not happening, and they're not going to trade away a Taves or a Kane. Let's be real here. So at the end of the day, it appears that Chicago is out. It appears that Columbus is already out because we talked about that earlier in these few days as well. Anaheim might be out. LA might be out, but Darren Dreger thinks they might circle back. We had that report from Fluto Shinzawa saying that the Bruins were out, and we had that report from Carpiniello saying that the Rangers wouldn't want to do it anymore either. So that leaves what? Minnesota? I guess we got to make a video about Minnesota and their potential Jack Eichel trading tribulations, because obviously as the conversation evolves, we have to go along with it, because man, I am as interested in you are in this entire Jack Eichel saga. So talk to me in the comments what you think about this entire video over here. Anaheim doesn't want to do what Buffalo wants, and Chicago is like, yeah, no, we have some very good reasons why we shouldn't do this trade, so we're not going to do it. Peace out, we're out. Talk to me in the comments what you think we enjoyed this video. And bye.